Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I gotta say, I'm very excited to see that there are people who are interested in the Revised Standard version of the Bible, so much so that there are two major publishers that are putting out very nice editions of the Revised Standard version. Now, I'm a mainline Protestant. I am a Presbyterian in the Presbyterian Church USA, and there are some interesting things going on right now with sort of translations that we use. The NRSV UE just came out, and that translation has some issues. It's very ideological. Some traditionalists in the mainline churches are not too happy with the fact that the NRSV, the original NRSV, is being phased out. It's completely out of print at this point. It's very sad because it is a pretty good translation, although it does have its problems. But I think that the Revised Standard version may be a solution to some of those issues. The Revised Standard version definitely has a lot of benefits. I'm going to be talking about that more as time goes on in different videos, but for now, I wanted to look at a specific one that I just picked up. I've been using the Revised Standard version on Logos for a while, just kind of getting used to it because I am a mainline Protestant, and I think that it's very cool. You know, this Bible was on the pulpit as a lectionary Bible in thousands and thousands of mainline churches in the United States of America, in Europe. It was in the hands of many Christians who were going to these churches. It was in the back of the pews. It was in classrooms and seminaries, universities, and really everywhere the Bible was being used. If it was being used in a mainline context or a scholarly context, it was this one being used up until probably the mid-90s when the NRSV started to take off. So very cool that we're starting to see some major publishers put it out. First, a few years ago, Schuyler, which is an evangelical Bible publisher. They publish very expensive, very hard for poor people to afford Bibles. And they put out a Revised Standard Version Quintel model, which is a large Bible, full-size Bible, and it had the Apocrypha, and people were very excited. I think that kind of got people more interested in the RSV. And then now Thomas Nelson was the original publisher of the RSV. They put out the Sovereign Collection edition of the RSV last year in leather soft, and then they had kind of a cheaper genuine leather edition last year. But now, just recently, a few days ago, they put out this. This is the premium Premier Collection edition of the Sovereign Collection Revised Standard version of the Bible. So I wanted to get my hands on one of these because, well, I needed a Revised Standard version of the Bible. But I also wanted to show you guys that there are some great options out there if you want to switch to using the Revised Standard version. You know, in my church, there's still a lot of older folks that carry around red Thomas Nelson RSV Bibles. Maybe they'll want to, invest some money and get one of these. It depends. But it does come in this really nice box. It's nice, I'm not really too into boxes, but it's cool, it makes you feel like you spent your money well because it's a nice, shiny box. Okay. So the Bible itself. Let me tell you, it is a goatskin Bible, but not all goatskin is the same, right? So if you have never touched a premium Bible with goatskin, you're probably going to feel this and be like, wow, this is the best thing ever. If you have handled a Schuyler or a Cambridge or an R.L. Allen or something, this might underwhelm you, right? And that's not to say that this isn't nice. It's very, very nice, but there definitely are better goatskins out there. And just to give you a good idea, maybe you can definitely feel it, but maybe you can see the difference. Here's this goatskin. The grain just isn't as pronounced. It's a little, it's kind of blotty, like, I don't know, not quite so nice looking. And then this goatskin, this is a Cambridge. And you can just tell that is just much more of a natural grain. It looks very premium and nice. Again, there's just different grades of goatskin. And this is a slightly lower grade of goatskin than some of the most premium Bibles out there, but this is still definitely premium. This is a thick enough leather. This is I believe, a leather liner as well. So this feels very, very nice. If this is going to be your first premium Bible, this is a great option because it's very affordable. For a premium Bible, this is very, very affordable. So next thing I wanted to look at was this spine. What do you guys think about that spine? Why don't you go down in the comments, let me know your opinion on this spine. I'm used to a cleaner design on the spine of my Bibles. In fact, I would prefer a cleaner design, much like this. In fact, in this one in particular, I probably would get rid of that wide margin addition right there. But that's kind of more what I'm used to, just simple, just tooled lines. This one has not only these 4 raised hubs, which I do like raised hubs, but it has these foil stamping designs on either side of each hub, and then it has the words in addition. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? You know, I was very worried that when I actually got my hands on this Bible, I wouldn't like that too much. But actually, I'm quite fond of it. I actually really like it. I especially like this really nice, I don't know what this design is. It's like some sort of floral design right there. But I think it's really nice. I think it's a little different. It's unique. It's something that Thomas Nelson's doing with their Sovereign Collection Bibles, and I think I'm a fan. But you guys let me know what you think. It's pretty nice. Overall, the Bible itself is very nice. It is a rose under gold art gilting. This art gilting is very well done. That is just mirror gilting right there, so very well done there. The ribbons are done really well, very long, and they're double-sided. You could just, when you get your hands on them, you can tell they're premium quality ribbons. So they did that very well. I think all of the different versions of the Sovereign Collection have these ribbons. I did forget to mention, the Sovereign Collection, you don't need to get the Goatskin edition. They also have a lesser genuine leather version, and they have a faux leather edition, and those are, between $20 and $40. So if you want a nice RSV and you don't want to pay a little bit more money for one, you can get one of those, and it still has this design on there, and it still has the ribbons. I think they might have 1 or 2 ribbons, but anyway, you have options. I'll put them all in the link below in the description. The fit and finish is nice. This is nice. It's got some heft to it. You can tell the paper is going to be kind of a higher quality, but this is nice. You have a perimeter stitch. I think this is going to last a really long time. If this was your only Bible, I think that you're going to get years and years and years out of it. It is an edge-lined Bible, so the construction is a little better. Oh, sorry, I just bumped the camera. But these are designed to be clamped onto the block. With some Bibles, let me grab something. I was just in my video yesterday, if you saw it, I was talking about this Bible right here and how it's coming apart right here. Sadly, I actually discovered that in the video, so you can go watch that. It's my last video. But that happens with paste down liners, not with these ones. These will last forever. That is not going anywhere. The way they make this is this leather liner that goes on this side of the outer liner. It comes and it ends right here, and it's actually tabbed in right here, and then they put this piece of vinyl paper right there. So that's never going anywhere. It's very well made. I'm not like a Bible reviewer. I really just like to show Bibles. So I'm not going to go through and show every little feature in this Bible. I just wanted to kind of show you that you can get a nice RSV version of the Bible now. It's pretty cool. Okay. Something I was really excited about was this layout. Hold on, let me just adjust my camera real quick. Sorry about that, guys. So check out this layout. This layout's really cool. It is like a Schuyler, if you've ever seen the Schuyler Quintel or Canterbury layout. They have these 4-line or ornamental drop caps. Everything's very similar. The references are down there. Very beautiful, but this is a 2K Denmark typeface with the comfort print font. Really nice, really readable. The font is quite large. The line spacing's perfect. I like the double column. really nice layout. The drop caps themselves, I do like drop caps, but I had my reservations. I wasn't sure if I was going to like these drop caps. I just thought maybe they're a little much. I don't know. They might look a little gaudy to me, similar to the spine. But again, when you put it in your hand and you look at it, it's really nice. I really like the way they're doing this. The whole point of this Sovereign collection is to take very elegant translations like the NRSV or like the RSV, the NKJV, and the KJV, and they put them in these really nice editions that are very ornamental and fancy looking with these traditional fancy looking typefaces. And I think it's really well done. So perfect layout. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this. I love references in my Bibles. I love double columns. This is perfect. I love the red accenting. So the chapter number is red accent and the verse numbers are red accent. And that's a nice thing. It makes it just a little bit easier to find the verse numbers. Okay, that's a good thing. Another thing I really like about this Bible, and this is my first Bible that has ever done this, is look at the Psalms, okay? So in the Psalms and other books of literature like Job, Song of Solomon, you have a single column format. And I think that's perfect. I'm not a huge fan of single column Bibles, but this is a nice way to do it, okay? I think it makes a lot of sense to have the narrative sections be in double column because they read a little bit better in double column. I think they're a little bit easier for certain reasons to read. But poetry sections of the Bible are a little bit uglier if they're in double column, especially if they're in a paragraph format. So when you make the lines a little longer, you avoid having one word lines. This is just a very attractive way to do it. It also gives you variation. So the Proverbs is like that as well. It also gives you variation so that that when you go from Esther to Job, you are getting, you're switching to poetry. And that's just a really nice thing that a lot of Bibles are doing now. I don't know if you've heard of the Passaggio setting, but the Passaggio setting is actually the opposite. With the poetry, it's double column, and with the narrative, it's single column. But I think this is actually makes way more sense. The Passaggio setting is also very strange because it kind of switches between in the same book. Like in the New Testament, there'll be poetry sections because it's alluding back to the Old Testament. And then those sections will be in double column, and then it'll switch back to single column. I just think that's weird and awkward. So I really like this. This is another thing that Schuyler does that Thomas Nelson is using in their Bible. The paper itself, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the paper is really nice. They claim that it is a European paper. I'm not quite sure what that means, if it's a French paper. I will say it does feel similar to the paper that's in my Cambridge Cameo, which is French paper. And you know what? It feels thicker than like a 28 GSM. I would say this is probably more like a 32 to 36 GSM, somewhere in there. It's a thicker paper. I anticipate that it will take light highlighting and pen marking quite well. So in the Prophets, it is double column, even though there is poetry in them. That is worth mentioning. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to go through the whole Bible and show everything. There are some appendices in the back, maps, different study helps for you to use. Look at this. Even I don't know what this is called. I don't think they call it a concordance. One second. I know if you stuck with me this long, you don't mind me fumbling through to try to find certain things. There's a 1-year Bible reading plan. I don't anticipate you're going to actually check off in these boxes. At least I wouldn't do that because that would make it kind of unusable in the future, but I'm sure it is a good plan. Okay, so this is a topical index, so it's not a concordance. That's actually a little bit more useful than a concordance in my opinion. But look at that. They even have those drop caps in this topical index. Isn't that so cool? But man, this is a nice Bible. So I will use this Bible a little bit more and let you guys know how it's holding up. And like I said, I do plan on doing more content about the Revised Standard Version. Oh, I forgot to mention, this Bible has black head and tail bands. Isn't that kind of interesting? I've never seen that before. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want to get one of these things, you can follow the link in the description. It's not an affiliate link, so it doesn't help me at all. It's just a way to make it easier for you guys to navigate the internet. Figured I'd do something nice for you. All right. Let me know what you think and have yourself a nice day.